Hi there, this is Jill Hope with I Shine Wealth, and in today's video, I am going to talk about the number one thing that you absolutely must do if you want to succeed with high ticket sales. This is something that I did not understand for years. It really held me back, but I'm going to talk about this today, and hopefully I can help you avoid any unnecessary struggle with your high ticket sales process. But first, as I said, I'm Jill Hope, and I help women entrepreneurs to connect with their own authentic voice and bring that into their business so they can make a whole lot more money and have a lot more fun and make a bigger impact in this world. All right, so let's get into this number one thing that absolutely must be there for you if you want to have success with high ticket sales. Now, what I first want to say is that one of the big mistakes that a lot of people make, and I definitely made this when I was first starting out, is when you're first starting out, you tend to think low ticket. You're thinking about maybe doing a group program or putting together something that's a couple $100s. And the problem with that when you're starting out is you don't have the audience built yet that you need in order to make enough money selling $100 and $200 programs, right? Like you would have to sell so many of those in order to actually even pay to keep running your business. And I definitely made that mistake. The first thing that I ever created in my business when I first started was I created a 4-week program and I charged $200 for it. And it felt like my best work, it felt like it was really coming from my heart and it was totally my thing. But how many people would I have had to get into that $200 program in order to make any decent money whatsoever, right? Like it wasn't a viable business model for myself. And I was working that model for like the first 2 years of my business, and then wondering, why am I not making enough money? And, why is it so hard? And what's wrong with me? And all that stuff, when really I just didn't have a model that was going to work for me. So I'm bringing this up because some women, when they think about high ticket sales, they have issues around that. Like it seems like something they maybe don't want to do because they feel like, well, that's greedy to be asking that much, or, am I really worth it to be able to sell something that costs that much? And there's all this conditioning and all this wounding and stuff that comes up. And so women tend not to even want to go there with their high ticket sales. Like they won't even consider it. But the truth is, like, if you look at what you need to do, how much money you need to make, especially in the early days to keep your business afloat, you pretty much need to be doing high ticket sales. There's not really any other way. Imagine, like, if you had a $20,000 program, you would only need to sell that to 5 people a year in order to make 100K in your business. But if you only have a $500 program, you're going to have to sell a lot more of those to be able to hit that same 100K. So it's definitely easier, especially when you're starting from nothing, to build by creating high ticket sales. Here's the next mistake that I see a lot of women making. And this is what I want to talk about today because I don't hear this one talked about very much. But here's the reality is that if you're going to get on a phone call with someone and you're going to be talking about what's going on for them, what they would like to see happen, what's not working, and all of that, and the whole process of doing a sales call. And you get to the point where they're definitely the right person for your program. You've discovered that. And you're ready to make them an offer, like they're leaning in, they're ready for the next step. If you're going to make an offer for a program that's, high ticket, and when I say high ticket, I'm saying anywhere from like anything above 2K, basically. 2K, 5K, 10K, 15, 20K, any or higher, anywhere in there. You've got to really embody that offer. If you don't buy into it yourself, how are you going to sell anyone else into that program? You must buy into the program first, buy into the price first, and buy into just who you are offering that. You've got to buy into you. You basically got to sell yourself on you if you want to sell the program to anybody else. It doesn't work any other way. If you're not bought into it, why is anyone else going to invest? Right? You might get some, but it's not going to be that easy. It's going to be few and far between, and you're still not going to be making the numbers you need to make for your business to survive and for you to thrive. So you've got to sell yourself on you. You've really got to buy into you. And this is a struggle. for a lot of women. I mean, I don't see men having the same problem that in this area that women have. There's really something unique about us women in that it's hard for us to go out there and ask for, $15,000, for example. That's not easy. And one of the big reasons why is because a lot of us women, I would say most of us women, we're nurturing, right? Like we're nurturers at heart. Like that's kind of how we were conditioned, and that's just how we are. I mean, if you're a mom, like we're always taking care of everybody else, right? We're thinking about what other people need. We're putting their needs often, way ahead of our own, sometimes to our detriment. And so we're always thinking about how can we make it better for the other person. And so part of that when it comes to this higher ticket sales process is that we want to take care of this potential client. And because we have a lot of mixed messaging around money, I mean, that it's out there in society, like there's a lot of screwed up messaging around money, right? Like, that is a problem in and of itself, and that is a topic for a whole nother video. However, we are stuck with that. So not only are we this, wanting to nurture this potential client, we want to take care of them. We're also worried about what other people think of us. We don't want to seem like we're greedy. We don't want to seem like we're full of ourselves, that we think we're so great that we can charge whatever this price is that we want to charge. We are so afraid of what other people think about us. And we so want to be that nurturing person that we probably are. And so when you have a lot of that going on inside, and then we've got the money messaging about how, like, what we think people can afford too, because we will project that onto someone else. We will project our own limited money beliefs onto someone else and think that, well, that's a lot of money. What if they can't afford it? They probably can't afford it. Why would they afford it? We have all this talk going on. If you have all that inside of you, and then you're sitting on a call with someone and you're about to make an offer for your $20,000 program, how do you think that's going to go? I mean, because even if you're not saying all this stuff, the fact that it's in there, that it's in you, and that it's going through your mind, that is going to come out in your energy. The client isn't going to necessarily know, but there's going to be something they tune into that feels like a repulsive energy to them. They're not going to want to lean in to that offer, let alone say yes to it. And they're going to have excuses and they're going to have objections, but the real reason is going to be because something about you they don't trust. Why don't they trust you? Because you're bringing to them something that you don't believe in. If you don't believe in it, they're not going to believe in it. So it is so important that if you want to sell high ticket, which I think personally is essential for anyone who is new in business, like you've got to learn how to sell high ticket. If you can't get out there and make a big offer, then I mean, the chance of you being in business 5 years later, it's slim to none. I mean, a huge percentage of businesses fail in the first 5 years. You've got to be making money really fast in your business if you want to survive. And you didn't start your business to fail, right? Like you started it so that you could thrive, so that you could create the experiences for your family that you want to create, so that you could create the type of lifestyle that you want. You wanted freedom, you want more time. You want freedom of not only time, but money. And that's all possible. But high ticket sales needs to be factored in to that equation of how you're going to get there, especially when you're starting out and you have a small audience. So that's why it is so important to work on the part of you that needs work in order so that you can get completely behind your offers and completely behind that amount of money you want to charge, so that your potential clients lean in and not lean back, so that they want to say yes because they totally believe that if they say yes, that they're going to be able to change their lives. But if you don't even believe it yourself, they're not going to buy in. So think about that. What are your objections for yourself when it comes to charging high ticket? I want you to take some time and think about this. Write down a list of what are all the things that come up for you when you think about selling something at a high ticket, over 2,000, but like getting up into the 5,000 range, the 10,000 range. What comes up for you? And write it down and really think about the truth of what you're writing down. Is it really true that people are going to think you're greedy? People might think you're very generous if you're offering an amazing product, an amazing package, and you're like only charging 5,000 for it when it should be 15,000. I mean, people might actually think the opposite. They'll think you're very generous. So, what kind of judgments are you putting on yourself around charging a lot of money? It's really important to look at that. And the other thing that I want to say about this is that when you are so dialed in to who you are, it is so much easier to come up with pricing that is high ticket that you can buy into. How I price all of my programs, I use intuitive pricing, aligned intuitive pricing. And it's so easy. Like what'll happen for me now, I've done this so many times when I'm, coming up with new things, and I just literally tune in for a minute and I will see a price. Like in my like vision field, I see numbers, and that's what I go with. It's not based on anything other than it's just I've pulled it down. It's my intuitive voice, my voice of intuition, and it just comes in, and I'm like, done. And I buy into it because I have worked on getting in tune with myself, getting in touch with my authenticity. And so I totally own my prices when I operate that way. When I'm in tune with myself, and when you're in tune with yourself, it works the same way. You're going to completely own your price. I don't have to get myself to buy into my own pricing. My pricing shows up in alignment with who I am and what my offer is. And so that's where you want to get yourself to if you want to be successful with this. You can go, making these offers, and I've seen people do it. And, like I have a client, Brittany, and I've seen her make this mistake several times before. She's finally getting it now, but I've seen her make this mistake where we'll talk about pricing. The pricing will really light her up. It'll feel really good to her, which is a good sign. You want to be lit up over your pricing, and it should also feel a little scary. And so she'll get to that sweet spot where it feels a little scary, but she's lit up about it. And then she'll go into her sales call, and then she will start to want to take care of her client again. And we were having a conversation about this the other day. And I said, listen, Brittany, I said, you're actually not taking care of your client. What she wanted to do was she wanted to charge individual session prices rather than asking her client to step up and invest in a bigger container of sessions that was actually going to really solve her problem. Instead, she just wanted to offer one-off sessions and give her kind of a lowball price so that her client wouldn't be intimidated. And I said, look, Brittany, you're actually not taking care of your client when you do that. Your client has come to you and she has a problem that she wants solved. And if you just offer her individual one-off sessions, that when her work begins to get hard, if she has a moment where she gets triggered, and she will, right? When we're doing transformational work, you get triggered through that process. If she has not committed herself to a full container of support, then she might run, because that's what happens to people sometimes. When we get triggered, when our stuff gets activated, rather than moving through it, some people respond by running away because it's hard, right? And so by her giving her client an out in that way, by only offering her individual sessions, she's not really taking care of that client. And that was a big wake-up call for her, because she's like, oh my God, I could totally see it now. And the most nurturing thing I can do is offer her a package that is in alignment with what she needs to solve the problem. And so we came up with a beautiful package. We came up with pricing, and she felt really good about it. And now I have no doubt she'll be able to sell that package to that client. So it's so important that you look at the truth, the real truth, underneath all of those objections that you write out about high ticket pricing, because you're probably bought into things that are actually not true. And a lot of times it's the complete opposite that tends to be true. So here's some things to think about with your high ticket sales process today. I hope this was helpful. You absolutely, number one, need to realize that you must be in alignment with you, and you must be bought into your pricing and your offers first before you ever even attempt the high ticket sales, because otherwise you might waste years like I did, charging and getting a lot of no's and not really making any progress in your business, when actually you could be aligned making the offer. It could be the perfect offer for your client because you've actually tuned into what they really need and how to really nurture them. And that is a much happier, more joyful, more fulfilling process as a business owner to be able to offer something and price it appropriately and offer that to a client who really needs your help. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm Jill Hope, and I've got a really awesome workshop coming up. It is totally free right now, but I will be starting to charge for it. You can click on the link below to get into that. It's a workshop called The Surprising Link Between Your Voice and Your Money, the secret key to 100K plus in your purpose-based business. I'll be doing this next week. So I hope that you get in there. If you want to get yourself to six figures and more in your business and you have been struggling, you've been stuck, you've been stagnant, this is the workshop for you. It's totally free right now. Go and get all the information in the link below. And I hope to see you there. Until next time, I'm Jill Hope, and see you again soon. Bye for now.